Hey everyone, it's Bennett Forrest. Time with your final regular season weekly recap for the ForrestLand MishMash Fantasy Football League. As you know, we have playoffs starting this week, and congratulations to the 4 teams that made the playoffs. Number 1 seed Injury Risk, newcomer to the league with an 11-3 record, will face the other newcomer slash returner from previous year, the Baltimore Riot. They win a 3.5-way tiebreaker. We'll get to that in a minute, but they do squeeze in with the last spot in the playoffs. We have defending champ Chicago Travelers once again winning the Mish division, facing 2 years ago champ and also a rematch of last year's championship game, third in Oolong, with an 8-6 record. So congratulations. As you can see, the scoring did start last night with the Rams-Seahawks game. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's take a quick minute to look at how we got here and how the regular season standings ended up. So the biggest game was the loser goes home matchup between 2 6-7 teams, Graceland and Baltimore Riot. As you can see, the Riot got the win. It's a shame for Graceland because they would have won the tiebreaker with the 7-7 record. They had the most points of those teams, but they did not get the 7th win. A big thing was, of course, Tom Brady. The final night definitely got over the hump, or got Baltimore Riot over the hump. Down by about 14, 16 points going into Monday night. It was supposed to be a low-scoring affair, but true to form with the Patriots, they scored a lot of points, and it was the straw that broke the camel's back was, late in the game up by 3, where most teams are trying to kill the clock and running the ball. The Patriots threw the ball for the 70-yard touchdown, and that's a good 6 points. It's like a 11-point play that sealed the deal. I think it was already in hand, but that sort of was the icing on the cake. And in spite of nothing from Cam Newton once again. Nothing much, from the running back Devontae Freeman. Of course, you see, wow, Atlanta scored 42 points, and yet only 3 points from the running back. Des Bryant finally got a catch at the end of the game and then fumbled it, so he had 0 points. The Seahawks gave up 38, -2, but yet the win's a win, and Tim Mayer gets it, and again. Scoring from previous weeks got him the tiebreaker. So not a ton of points here, but enough to get the win. Of course, for Graceland, tough luck. You got to think Breeze is going to get a lot more points than 4. That was probably the most disappointing. Obviously, you can't help Melvin Gordon getting hurt. Nothing you could do there. Beckham did his job with that screen pass or slant pass that he scored 60-something yards for a touchdown. So just not quite enough, especially disappointing with only 11 combined points from the 2 quarterbacks. So Graceland is out. They end the season, ouch, 4 in a row losing, 6-4 at one point, but they unfortunately go downhill. Obviously, it would have been nice to have Bilal Powell in, but you can't predict that. And, Matt Forte got hurt and gave Bilal Powell the opportunity, but not Graceland's fault there. But obviously it would have been nice to have him in instead of Melvin Gordon. So congrats to the Baltimore Riot for getting the 4th playoff spot. We also had 3rd and Oolong sealing their victory, their playoff spot with only, again, low-scoring week overall. Only a couple teams scoring a lot of points. 3rd and Oolong squeaks by with a 113-197 win. There was a lot of double-digit teams this week, so not a lot of scoring there. The Cartel had a tough season, so 2 years ago they win the championship. Now they're 5-9 and just not getting it done. Just not a good season. I mean, Jameis Winston and Mike Evans were amazing all year, but obviously Todd Gurley just being pretty absent and just not getting it done for the Cartel. 3rd and Oolong, they go to 8-6. They get the 3rd seed. Congratulations. They'll have a chance to get back into the championship game. We also had the Stallions at 6-7, knocking out the Colon Cleansers. A win by the Colon Cleansers would have been 8-6. That would have clinched the 4th spot. They lose only 114 points. Somerset Stallions with a nice showing to to end the season on a high note. They do lose the tiebreaker. They came in third out of the 3 tie-breaking teams at 7-7. So, but they do get a little satisfaction in knocking the colon cleansers out. And we have the Tough Luck Slim Aussies, who are still lamenting a Week 7 lineup snafu with not picking up the defense in time to get the that would have won the game, that would have eventually been an 8-6 season. The Slim Aussies did everything they could by winning 5 in a row. Everything fell into place. All the teams that needed to lose lost down the stretch. Everything fell into place, and but unfortunately, that one game where an insignificant lineup change that just didn't happen at the last minute cost the Aussies a chance to squeak into the playoffs. And they're one of the hotter teams with Aaron Rodgers, LaShawn McCoy. Picking up Tyreek Hill late in the season has been great. Ertz, struggled most of the season, but has really picked up lately. And even in spite of Carson Palmer's struggles, the Slim Aussies really came on strong at the end. Not enough to get it done. Mandarino just had a tough season. They lost 5 in a row. Of course, Matt Forte got hurt at the beginning of the game. Eli and Brock just turnover prone and just not getting a lot of points. A.J. Green went out in the middle of the season. Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't do what he did last year. So just a tough season for Mandarino. They finished 4-10. Slim Aussies, again, finished the year strong, but not enough to get in. And, of course, we had the most insignificant game, luckily for the Travelers, who win the division. And luckily, or hopefully for them, only scored 5 points at the right time, because it really didn't matter. Just didn't, Mark Ingram been up and down all year. Kelvin Benjamin looked like he was going to come back and be a stud this year, just didn't get it done in this game. So tough scoring for the Travelers and injury risk. Hopefully they did not peak too soon. Of course, Le'Veon Bell was just amazing. I was watching that game, and it was just interesting to see how basically all he did was just wait to get his footing, and then when all the Bills defenders were on their heels, he just ran past them, and it just seemed like in the snow and ice, no one could get their footing except for Le'Veon Bell, and he just patiently just picked them apart and just had tons of points. Of course, Matt Ryan did his Matt Ryan thing. Andy Dalton, actually, Cleveland's come back lately, or sorry, Cincinnati's come back lately to make up for an early season mediocrity. So injury risk gets tons of points. Of course, they're going to hope that they don't peak too soon, and really an irrelevant game, but could be a preview of the championship game, so we'll see how that works out. And I believe we covered everything, so let's take a look at the final regular season standings. And as we can see, we have clearly injury risk winning 11-3, winning the MASH division. Third, New Long, the only non-division winner above 500. Chicago Travelers, who scored a ton of points, just had a couple tough luck losses, but do win the division. And then again, there's 4 7-7 teams, and if we look at points for, we can see that obviously the Baltimore Riot had 25 points. The Colon Cleansers not even breaking 1,900 points, so they, I believe, are the 4th of the 7-7 teams. You had the Stallions with 1941, and then the Slim Aussies again losing 50 points, which is obviously only 6 or 7 points a week, but that's enough along with the 7-7 record to not get in. So of the 4 7-7 teams, the Riot get in, and we'll see if they can win a couple games and win the Super Bowl. So that's how the season standings finish up. Again, with the Travelers, getting the most points in the league, so a little bit tough luck with the record, but for their sake, at least they make the playoffs. Now let's take a quick look at the playoff preview. We did have a couple scores last night's Seahawks-Rams game. Obviously, advantage goes to the Riot because they get 10 points from the Seahawks defense, and injury risk only gets 5 points from running back Rawls. As you can see, a ton of injuries, so obviously the Riot is going to put someone in for Sproles, but then each team has 3 questionable players, so it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out by Sunday. As we sit Friday, we don't know who is going to be playing, and of course probably won't know till Sunday morning. So this game's way up in the air, too close to call, too early to tell how that's going to go. Obviously, the projections are a little off with Sproles out. Riot will definitely get somebody else in there. So it looks like it's a pretty even game. We also have the, again, rematch of last year's championship game. We have the Travelers and Third and Oolong, and it looks like the Travelers are projected to win. Only 4 points from Jimmy Graham last night. I thought he had a bunch more. I think he had a touchdown that he dropped or something. And nobody yet playing for the Travelers. So, again, with some injuries over here, the Travelers have some thinking to do about how they're going to set up their lineup. But we will see. So, again, good luck to the playoff teams going in. It's going to be one of these teams. We have a consolation bracket. Really not worth talking about. And so we'll just see what happens. So good luck to everybody. One final note, and I'm going to post this. I haven't gotten paid from everyone. I will not pay anyone, including the winners, until everybody in the league is paid. So nobody gets their money. So Injury Risk especially has not paid. So I'm going to call them out. So, you know, they're one win away from being in the money, but they're not getting their money unless they pay. I believe the Riot haven't paid. I believe the Mandarino and the Cartel haven't paid either. So I think we have 6 paid and 4 unpaid. I'm going to put the address on the Facebook page. Thanks for listening, and good luck to the playoff teams. It's been a great year, and we'll see what happens. I'll talk to you next week.